Well, here we are. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Faye's Angels, and also welcome our lovely. Oh, here comes my husband. I think he's going to say hi. Welcome to help me welcome my beautiful guest, the Reverend Nancy Robinson.
Namaste to everyone. Thank you for having me on.
And we have already a guest, Polly Miller, and we also have our guest. Roger wants to say hello.
Hi, Roger. How are you?
She says hello. How are you? He can't hear you because he's not plugged in.
Right here.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
She late, but I got it.
All right. So when I was telling Roger everything about you, I was kind of giving the list. He says that you're the whole enchilada. So
rolled up into one, right?
now rolled up into one. So anyway, I'm so excited that you're here today, Paul, and that you are sharing with us maybe your backstory a little bit. I'm going to wait for more people to join our show. Hopefully they will say hello. I think we have some people on Facebook. I'm trying to get away from here.
Well, let me see.
What do you want to say, honey?
Nancy, I've heard a lot of things about you, and I know they're all lies.
Well, I had to stretch the truth a little bit.
So I have to I'm trying to do a multitask here. So, here we go. Yes. Oh, wow. We've got a lot of people on Facebook. So
Great.
That's great. Okay. So, we're going to probably not have any readings tonight. If those of you are thinking that might happen, really, there's a lot to be said. My show, Faye's Angels, is about just finding the backstory of the folks who do like things like Roger and I on our shows. I am not a psychic medium, but I help produce the shows. And there's a lot to be covered tonight. And so anyway, welcome you, Nancy. I'm having a hard time talking because there's a lot of things going on. I'll try to.
Am I confusing you?
Yes, you are. He's confusing me every day.
Okay, I'll go with my.
That's his job,
Hi, Nan.
Is it? Is that part of the process?
Yeah, that is part of the process, unfortunately.
Well, I'm really glad that you and Roger are meeting, by the way, because I think he has always wanted to meet you. And I've talked about you from time to time. I said, Nancy is down in Sarasota. I'd love to go visit her. I really not Sarah. I know you don't. I know you don't really live there, but I mean, you're close by.
I live in Venice, which is about 25 minutes away from Sarasota, a little south of Sarasota. But you're more than welcome. Both of you are more than welcome to come and see me, and maybe we can produce some shows together.
Wouldn't that be cool
to
collaborate? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yes.
Well, we might. We probably would love to have you on one of our shows on either Wednesday night or Saturday morning here. We often have visitors, other psychic mediums have come on, and for Roger and another psychic medium to join in and help the people who are viewing who have questions, that would be a wonderful time.
No problem.
After Christmas, it will be after Christmas, I think, and we'll talk. What did you want to say?
Nancy, I would like to be on stage with you.
I would love to be on stage with you. So
people.
Let's get it done.
Wow. That'd be cool.
Do that. We have a lot to offer people, I can tell you.
Can we dance first?
Can he dance first?
Yeah, and I love Mexican dancing. So that'll be great.
That'd be cool. So anyway,
she loves Mexican dancing.
She probably loves you too.
Okay, good. Okay, I gotta go now. Bye.
He's gotta go. He's gotta go.
Oh, he's gonna go over to his office then, by golly.
All right.
There's never a dull moment around here, Nancy.
I can tell that.
Yeah, I mean, so I met you while you lived up here in the northern country. We went to the same church. We were in the same choir, and you just have to go now, okay?
Bye.
Okay. We were in the same choir. It was fabulous. That was a time when I was going through my own little journey, and but now we are connected. I am so grateful for that. Um, Well, I just want to say to everyone who has joined us so far, and if you don't know Nancy, I think it's time you did, because she does wonderful work. She is an international uh, certified pranic healer. She's a psychic medium. Um, she has helped people throughout the years, and I think, I can't even give you all your credentials here. There's not time for it, but please read the bio that I have on the show. I think that would be great. I'm going to share with you what Nancy said, and I'll let her talk a little more if she wants to. She was born on a farm. She loves animals, nature, and a strong respect and love for Mother Earth. She grew up with ideals of honesty, respect, loving kindness, non injury, goodwill, the golden rule, and living in joy. A sense of humor is one of her gifts, which enables her to uplift depressed and grief stricken people who need healing. It is also great fun at a gathering. I know that to be true. I've been in gatherings with Nancy, and just having people say hello to you right now. Got to get rid of something here. Um, She says staying positive no matter what happens has seen her through large obstacles in her own life. She loves to travel and meet new people, see how they live, and get inspiration from them. Each new experience is a blessing. Um, she has sung in a church choir. You just recently sang the Messiah with a choir, right?
Yes, I did. It was a volunteer choir in Sarasota. It was put on by the Sarasota Choral Society. It was fabulous. We had a full orchestra, and the soloists and the junior choir came in and sang with us. There was over 130 people, but the junior choir sang with us during the Hallelujah chorus. It was amazing. Like I said before, my head was tingling and the tears were flowing when I'm singing. So
I understand that feeling, because when we were in the choir that I was in with you before, didn't you? I mean, we found that to be
oh yeah, we'd be
we
singing
had
and it
wonderful.
moved us so that we had tears in our eyes.
We were crying while we were singing. I
Mm-hmm.
know we were,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a blessing. Singing is and music is so important to all of us. For
Well, the
me.
thing about it is we have to remember that um, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration.
Hmm.
So we actually have our own codes as uh, individual expressions of God. So when you come into a body, you'll have your own code, but you also have your own vibration and song. You have your own inner song that you resonate with. So, like certain songs, like the Messiah and different things like that, will resonate with some part of your own designated code, your own vibration. Now, as we move forward into this higher vibrational frequency that we're coming into, we're going to, it'll come in through color and vibration, like song, um, and uh, and so it's really important. when why do monks chant, or people chant mantras? Because it's like a song. It's chanting, and it connects with other higher codes that are out in the universe, or wherever you want to call it, the multiverse. So every time you sing a song, or singing yourself, it taps into certain different codes that are within you. So that's why it's really important to connect with song or vibration or do chanting or something like that. That helps raise your vibration as we go into this new vibrational frequency, the shift that's happening at this particular moment.
Maybe we
So
should be
song and color too.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing that I'm noticing on Facebook. I don't know why I'm getting it, but I mean, we don't know why. It's all good. But it's where you can see there's a color, there's some color going on, and then a song is picked. And it's really quite beautiful. I mean, I'm mesmerized by the graphics of the uh, whatever colors they're putting on, and then the song. It could be something by the Beatles, or it could be something by Elton John, or it could be something by anybody. It is, I mean, I find it to be quite stirring. I just want to say hi, everybody. Everybody's saying hello. I want to kind of feature them here. Love that you've all come in. Thank you for joining us. Polly Miller has made it. We have Andram Flores. Thank you for joining us. We've got Mohit Baryaha. I'm not quite sure where you're coming from, but thank you for joining us. Herbie Lopez comes to our shows a lot, and Mary Erickson. Love you, darling. Glad you joined us today, and thank you for liking and sharing the show.
Thank you.
Yep, and Kathy Hanley, I don't know if I said that already, but she's here a lot. Marie Taylor.
Hi, Marie.
Oh, you know her? Okay. And Tanya, my daughter, is here.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Peach Ann. Hello, darling.
Hi, Peach Ann.
Yep. And Herbie says he kind of likes the Song of Prayer. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the prayer, the Lord's Prayer, when you sing it, it actually has a connection. The Lord's Prayer actually has a connection to the chakra system.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Each line of the Lord's Prayer is like, Our Father who art in heaven, and then hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You know, as it goes down the chakra system and it connects with different chakras. So when you say the Lord's Prayer, it's actually clearing the chakras.
Wow.
And when you sing it, it brings it to a higher vibration yet. So, you know, when we were in unity together, we always sang the Lord's Prayer. And then later on, they took it out, and I was not happy. But it's just because I understood the power of singing the Lord's Prayer. And so I made my voice heard and said something about it, but, you know,
it didn't
they're
work.
going to do what they do, but, you know.
I loved it when they did that too. Yes. I mean, because I think the first time I walked in that church and sat down and didn't understand anything that was going on. I mean, I was from a traditional other faith, and came into the not so traditional place at Unity. Sat down and just felt the beautiful charisma in the whole setting, and then we sang the Lord's Prayer. I was I was not well, I think it really hit me as I was supposed to be there. It's just like all the coincidences we have. I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to sing the Lord's Prayer. And then we went into a meditation, and I cried again. And oh my goodness, I said, I am never leaving this, this place. And of course I did move on, but it gave me it gave me the chance to sing in a choir. It gave me a chance to grow spiritually, to learn something. And one of the classes, I think I told you this before we chatted before, they offered different classes there at that church, and one of them was about metaphysics, which I had no idea what that was. And then I sat across from you. You explained. We all introduced ourselves, and I think they came to you. And I'm not quite sure if you disclosed how you put yourself. I'm not quite sure how do you remember? Do you remember that? I think you were helping people, working with people in a retirement center or something? Were you doing their hair? You were doing their
I
hair.
worked in a nursing home and did
Okay.
people's hair at the time, but I also did readings and was
And I
in
think
a
you said that.
meditation center.
I think you did say that. And then at break time, were discussing spirit guides in that beautiful class, which was also mind-boggling for me. I mean, I was just a baby in my journey, right? And they talked about spirit guides, and then I think I was able to kind of chat with you then, and you said, "Well, yeah, you have a lot of spirit guides around you, Faye. I see them." And I went, "What? You see them, Nancy?" And I didn't have the courage to say, "Well, okay, what do they look like?" You know what I'm saying? I was already blown away.
Uh-huh.
But we managed to be friends on Facebook and stay with each other, and I think and I was very, you know, we never stopped. I mean, Facebook is very fabulous for that reason that we can stay
Keep people
connected.
connected.
Mhm.
And Facebook has changed a lot in a positive way, I think, too, where we can do. There for a while, I was a few years back, I was doing 1 minute questions
Okay.
or one question readings. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and I did that for a while. It was free to the public, and they could come on and just ask. I'd go on from 7 to 8 my time,
Mhm.
and then I would, people would type in a question, and I'd answer them for. And that was very lovely, and it helped a lot of people. But also, I actually gained a few clients from it because they needed more help than one question.
Right.
And it was very enlightening and good. I don't know. I might go back at it some other time and just once a month maybe go in and have
Mhm.
one question readings or something like that. But I haven't. It was time consuming at the time,
Yeah.
and I just haven't been able to figure out when I'm going to do that again. But
Right.
right now, I've been trying to help people that are struggling through the season because it can be a dark season for people.
Yeah.
Not everybody loves Christmas.
No.
But if anybody are struggling with the holiday blues, they can get into contact with me.
Yes, let's tell them how they can get in touch with you. You have a
Um,
website, right? Or is that how
yes,
you
it's ReverendNancyLee.com.
Okay, I'm gonna
So,
write that down.
okay,
Rev, Nancy. Okay.
Lee.com. The best way is to probably instant message me under Reverend Nancy Lee or just Nancy L. Robinson on Facebook. Or you can
Okay.
instant message me, or you also can, email me at Rev Nancy L. Nancy Lee 52 at gmail.com. So,
Okay.
you can get in touch with me that way.
Yeah.
So, look up my website. It's reverendnancylee.com. And then you
Yeah,
can.
I put it down, I put your website down, it shows up on Facebook really well.
Okay, good.
And so, but I'm sure, yes, you have a lot of things going on, like, you were the whole enchilada, like Roger said, saying, your credentials are quite amazing, ordained reverend at Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light, which is in Sarasota, Florida, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Where you have sessions there as well, I mean, different
Yes, I will
sessions.
do sessions through there on Mondays usually. Or if they need it other times, I can work around their schedule because some people still work and can't come when I'm. But you know,
And
and I do
some of the
sessions at
sessions
home.
are like pranic healing, and, I was looking at that, inner child healing, which I find to be quite something I might want to check out myself with you. Emotional releasing, chakra balancing, restorative release, mediumship. And you talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm just very curious to know as to being able to release some things that happened in our former lives. You're able
Well,
to.
let me just explain that a little bit, okay?
That'd be great.
First of all, we'll talk a little bit about the chakra system. In the pranic healing, we study 11 chakras, not just the normal 7. The normal 7 are in there, but we also add front and back heart chakra, forehead chakra, and then the ajna chakra is between the eyes. So it's the crown, the forehead chakra, the ajna chakra between the eyes, the throat chakra, front and back heart chakra, front and back solar plex, front and back spleen chakra, and the navel chakra, the Meng Meng chakra, which is directly behind the navel on the back, and then the root chakra or the basic chakra, as we call it. So it goes into a lot more detail than just the 7. And when we do healing on those particular chakras, there's certain things that are trapped in the chakra. But we also have 4 bodies. We have the mind body, the emotional body, the etheric body, and the physical body. When the physical body gets sick or we're reacting to something that's in the chakra or the emotional body, mostly it comes from the emotional body. That's what I call emotional scarring. It's like if I look into the emotional body and I can see these little, it looks like puffs of smoke to me. It's an emotional scar that's come in, and intuitively, let's say I pick it up that you had some sort of sexual abuse. Okay, so when you look through to the outer world, you're looking through that wound, that trauma. Well, and sometimes we carry those traumas from other lifetimes. Okay. So, like maybe it was a horrible lifetime that you spent before, and you come in with different kinds of fears. Like, I have a fear because of another lifetime that I had and I drowned. So, I love to be in the water. I love to swim. I love to get in the ocean. I love to snorkel, but I don't like to put my face in the water. So, you're not going to find me swimming like this with my face in the water. I won't do it. I had to have my head poked out. And it scared me to death when I first learned how to snorkel, because that was a trauma that came through from another lifetime that sits in the chakras and the energy bodies. Okay. So once that starts to happen, we can remove those things from the chakras or the energy body, and then you start to see clearly about things. You're not looking through a wound. So let's just say you have a wound of sexual abuse. It's like you look at the world and everything that happens to you, and that's probably a victim mentality or a victim pattern. Then you look at everything outside of you as a victim. That's those people that you'll find that complain that, oh, she did this or he did that, or, blaming other people for what's happening in their lives because they're a victim to it. So once you do some kind of healing, you do emotional release or you do chakra clearing, then you pull those energies out of those energy bodies or those chakras, and the person becomes more healed. If somebody has an addiction, what happens with an addiction is we have a protective web right behind the plate of the chakra. So the chakra looks like a disc that sits in front of, like, let's just use the heart. It's a disc that sits in front of the heart, an energy disc.
Okay.
Right behind that disc is what's called a protective web. And then it goes on into the body. If that protective web is broken by an addiction, okay, then entities, energetic entities, will get lodged in that chakra, in that protective web. So that's like, okay, let's just say you're addicted to cigarette smoking, and you have that energetic entity that's attached to you in the chakras that have that, which was throat, hand chakras, because we have little mini chakras on our fingers, and emotional. So it's the solar plexus, the throat, I think it's the ajna. I'd have to look it up. It's all written down in the books. We have certain protocols that go along with these things. And so if I take and clear those energy, and someone goes to like a rehab for drugs or alcohol, right? And they don't have the energy entities that are attached in there removed, then 9 times out of 10, the person who went to that rehab is going to go right back to what they were doing before, because that little entity is controlling them.
Wow.
So, and that's the same thing with other lifetimes. If there's something that came through, it's karma or something that didn't get cleared in the past lifetime, comes through in this lifetime.
Right.
Then we want to clear that pattern or that vow. Now, many times people take vows in different lifetimes.
Vows of, what do you mean?
Just you don't realize that you're making vows all the time.
Yeah.
Like if you say that you are doing something and you go, oh, I hate when that happens and I'll never do that again. You're making a vow.
Okay.
It might not be such a good vow.
Right.
You know, we have to watch our words, our thoughts, or what we're thinking, saying, and doing. Those things, and that's what we're moving forward in this new consciousness, is becoming more conscious of what we say, think, and do to be able to raise our vibration up higher. That's becoming aware. So we have 3 things that happen when you start to become aware: willingness, awareness, and then choice. So willingness to look and see what it is that needs to be changed. Awareness of what it is. So now we're becoming aware of what consciousness level we're on. And then we have choice. Are we going to stay there, or are we going to do something different?
So Nancy, I have to ask you, Reverend Nancy, so how does one prepare themselves to move on? How do you continue? What is the method, or what does Nancy do to continue to move on?
I have 3 things that I teach people to do to prepare themselves to clear things and go into a higher vibration.
Okay.
Empowering yourself. Now, mostly I empower people, or help people empower themselves through doing an I am affirmation. The I am affirmation is, I am that I am. I'm not my body. I'm not my emotions. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my words or my mind. The mind is only a subtle instrument of the soul. I am the soul. I'm a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, divine power. I am one with my higher soul. I am one with my divine spark. I am connected to God. I'm a child of God. I'm one with God. I'm one with all. Now you start invoking that to the universe, or to the divine, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So the universe doesn't know the difference between positive and negative. So if you're saying, let me just say, I'm broke. Well, that's what the universe is going to give you. But if you start empowering yourself and connecting to yourself, to that higher soul, which I just gave you the I am affirmation to do that, right? So if you start empowering yourself and being led by that higher soul, we come into the world with this amazing big soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we can't get into a little body, all this big soul. Mm-hmm. So we have what's called the higher soul and the incarnated soul. The incarnated soul is not separate from the higher soul. We have a higher soul that is connected to the divine. That's what should be guiding us. But lots of times, because of things that happen on this 3D planet,
right,
we get that feeling of duality or separation.
Separation from the divine, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's because, and that's your higher soul.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So the higher soul connects with the incarnated soul through the spiritual cord, which goes right up straight through your crown.
Okay.
Once you start empowering yourself, doing meditation, all of those things, the spiritual cord enlarges. Okay. So most people walking around on the street have a spiritual cord about that wide. People that are on their spiritual path, they meditate, they do their spiritual work, it starts widening and widening and widening. Now, sometimes it can go back when you get involved with trauma or drama or something else on this planet or on this plane. Okay, then it can shrink that spiritual cord. But if you ever see a really high spiritual person walk into the room, it looks like they're shining because their spiritual cord is taking up that room. It grows exponentially, and they're able to bring down more spiritual energy than the average person. So that's what we mean by empowering. You grow the connection between you and the higher soul. So you're being guided by the higher soul at all times.
So
and down
really
to the apple that you pick in the store.
So key to finding out where to go. I mean, if you are so inclined a little bit to take a moment or two out to meditate, to be quiet,
Always. Every day you should take at least 5 to 10 minutes just to be quiet and be with yourself. I do it lots of times right as I'm waking up.
Right.
Because I find I'm getting the best messages, and because I'm in an altered state of mind.
Right.
When you meditate, you become in an altered state of mind.
Right, because when you wake up, that I just read one of the books I'm reading is that as you're waking up, that is also very close to being in meditative state, as you just said, and that's when you had just come out of
You're in that theta or beta vibration.
Yes.
And so you want to be in that. That's where you create from too.
You're right.
So if you want to start creating things, manifesting things in your life, which the energies are coming in so strong at this time, that we're going to be able to start manifesting that thought. So we have to be really aware. What are we thinking? You know, if you're thinking negative about this and that and the other thing, you're going to start creating more and more of that. And that's not what you want to be doing. You want to create positive, because the positive energy comes down, goes out from your heart, gathers more, comes back, and then it connects up because it's higher vibration. But if it's a negative, it sits with you. It doesn't go anywhere. It can't connect up. It's not high enough vibration. So you start creating a much more negative world for yourself.
How do you protect yourself? How do you suggest people protect themselves from the negative, from the toxic, from the...
Well, you first has the choice as to whether you're going to resonate at a higher vibration and not negative. So you have to change yourself first. Right. Nothing is done without working on yourself first. Okay. And then There are a lot of people that are negative, and you start vibrating on a higher vibration. Let me tell you something, those people will fall away, or you won't want to be spending time with them. You'll walk away from them.
Do you find that sometimes they do want to come back because they see that you are at a higher,
Sure, they do.
um,
But you
and
then have to set healthy boundaries for yourself, which is very hard for a spiritual being, because we're all like, oh, we just have to love everybody and have to give all the time. But if you're not setting healthy boundaries, then that weakens you. So
right,
you have to decide for yourself whether you're going to allow yourself to be an enabler of these people, or you're going to say, no, this doesn't work for me. And sometimes that's very hard to do. I had a very dear friend that we were friends for over 30 years. And, you know, it just
it
wasn't working anymore. And I was like, she took herself out. I just kept
yeah,
saying to spirit, I don't want this anymore. Let me be free of this. And pretty soon she took herself out. She blamed me for something and she didn't want
and
to
so
be.
and
And
so
that's
you
okay.
yeah,
That was fine.
it doesn't hurt so much when you kind of, when you have this understanding and you can figure you had already asked spirit to help you, and so when that did happen, did it hurt, or
It
did you
did in
do
a way because I
Mm,
loved her
yeah,
and I still love her.
right, of
That doesn't
course,
change my love for her. That
right,
just says I had to make a choice as to have that kind of behavior in my life or not. And you also have that choice with yourself. What kind of behavior are you going to allow yourself to indulge with your own self and with others? You have to make that choice because you're the only one that has power over it. And sometimes it hurts and sometimes it's sad. Her and I have been friends for over 30 years. And I
well,
have still been very nice to her when I see her. I still tell her I love her, but she can't answer that back
well,
because she's not there. And
right,
that's okay. I can allow her to be her,
right.
but I also have to respect myself enough to step back and say, I can't have this kind of chaos and angry feelings and blaming me for things in my life anymore. And you do that even with family members.
I know.
You have
That's
to make a choice in your family
yeah,
as to what's healthy for you. And sometimes that means you might have to distance yourself.
yes. It's happened to me. I mean, after it was kind of, uh, I'll just share a little bit about me. When Roger and I got married, it was a big step because, it, it- it was a big surprise to a lot of people. We knew each other in high school, but didn't date. And all of a sudden, he comes in my life, and people go, "Where did that come from?" Well, um, uh, quickly, I was working on a class reunion, and so I'm in that, and then somebody calls Roger to tell him about the class reunion. Roger says, "Oh, I'm going to be up in Minnesota at a gig. I'm going to be performing. Tell the classmates to come to that." And one of the classmates who was talking to him said, "Well, I'll tell Faye Ewing to send out an email." And he said, "Wait a minute. Did you say Faye Ewing?" And he goes, "Yeah, Faye. I'll have Faye. If you tell Faye, you get Faye to that gig, because even if you have to fireman carry her there," he said. Uh,
I
that's
love
what he
it.
s Yeah. I mean,
That's great.
and back up a little bit, I go, So Jerry called me and said, well, hey, Faye, what are you doing on Sunday?" I go, "Well, I don't have anything planned," because I didn't. And he said, well, remember Roger Garza?" I go, "Kinda." And he said, "Well, he's going to be playing. He's a musician." I said, "No, well, I don't really know." He says, "And he's going to be at a gig on Sunday at this place, and he really would like you to be there." And I said, "Okay." And so
Like,
I
what
said,
a shock.
"Oh, okay." And then he said, no, really, we're all going to be there. You could sit with us and we'll all have a great, I said, sounds like fun. And then, but I'm sort of nervous because he really wants me to be there. Whatever. And so I looked him up in our yearbook and I went, oh God, I remember him. He's awfully skinny little guy, but
Not
cute.
anymore.
No, no, big guy. But so I went to the gig and I looked on stage and all I saw were all these old people, old men. And I said, oh no, I wanted to, go. But then all of a sudden I felt this shadow, coming to out of my peripheral vision. And I looked up and I went, oh, hi. Well, you've changed. You've improved. And he dedicated all the songs to me all night, and I was all blown away. Our courtship was very quick. We talked back and forth from he in Texas and I in Minnesota, and he at that night he also told me he was a psychic medium, and I went, okay, I said, okay, sure you are, and he says, no, really, I am, and he was people were coming through that for me that night, actually, and he was telling me about my dad who smoked a pipe, was a farmer, and I said, he didn't smoke a pipe. He says, yeah, I see him in bibs. I said, he didn't wear bibs. And so, yeah, I was like being the real jerk to him, but that's okay because I found a picture that proved me wrong. My dad was smoking a pipe in the field, but my uncle was wearing the bibs. They were both like
Okay.
19. But I mean, I went, oh God. And so we kept on talking, and a lot of people came through. He did not know my family at all. He did not know that, he didn't know anything about me except there were people he was naming in my life, and I was in shock,
Mhm.
in shock, but it falling in love because I went to visit him and then I saw him work with people, and what made me fall in love with him was the way he was working with the people.
Mhm.
That love that I was that love that he was giving me and giving these people was
Mhm.
just
Exactly.
embracing me while he was talking to the people. And that's what made me love him. And that's what makes me love him still is that how he works with people who come in and out of the blue, these really strange things happen in our readings, his readings that I kind of go, oh gosh, don't say that. But when he says it, then they go, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm going, wow, that makes sense.
Mm.
You
I
know,
know
it,
sometimes I say things when I'm doing readings and I think, oh, that because like one time a friend of mine asked me to get in touch with her dead husband. And I
mhm.
say, well, this is really strange. I see a car with an orange juice glass sitting on top of it. And she goes, oh my God, I can't believe you saw that. And I said, why? What does that mean? Because it didn't mean anything to me. She
Right.
said he used to have a Corvette that he called, it was orange, and he used to call it orange juice.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Spirit will show us things. We don't know what it means. We haven't got a clue, or I'll say something, say this or that or whatever.
Oh,
And
speak of the devil here.
I I see him.
Nance, there's a lady in Florida that I read for, and I
Uh-huh.
told her, I said, I see you going dancing. I said, but be careful because you're going to break your heel. I said, it's like a boot heel. I said, she said, well, I always wear my boots. I said, well, be careful because I see the heel breaks. He wrote back Sunday to tell me that the heel broke.
Yeah,
Well, she
I
was
know.
dancing.
It's just the craziest stuff. And I've said uh, to this one woman, I said,
Did she say?
I see you driving this car, but
Hello, this was
Just
I see you driving this car, but I see a danger around it. So you need to check into getting a new car. And she broke down. Her car broke down, and she got a new car that very next Monday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Over the weekend, her car broke down.
I know it's funny. I think I need to interject just a second. I find it as a spectator to all these reads is that it's kind of strange what spirit will bring through. It's like it's like a practical recommendation, like get a different car or fix the fence or fix the window or you
How
know.
many of those have I had?
I mean, I'm sure you have. Maybe I'm quite sure
It
Nancy.
happened to me. I had a cousin that passed away. He got hit by a train, and I call him my traveling angel now, because one time I was getting ready to go to Cancun, and I was at my girlfriend's house. We were going together, and her husband was not going with us, and we were going to get up at 4 a.m, take our shower, and then he was driving us to the airport. And so I saw my cousin in the dream right before I got ready to get up. And in the dream, he was taking my suitcases and putting them in a car. And he says, I'm taking you another way for your safety. And so I woke up and I was like, I said to my friend, I'm not getting on that plane. There's something wrong with that plane. I am not getting on that plane. And I said, we're going to sit down and pray about it. And I prayed. I said, don't let us get on that plane. Let the plane be canceled. Don't let us get on the plane. And I'm in the shower, taking my shower, getting ready. And I'm going, let that plane be canceled. Let that plane be canceled. And so we went. I lived in the Washington, D.C. area at the time. We went down to the National Airport. We got up to the ticket counter. This is way before cell phones or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have an opportunity to call us. And we got up to the counter, and the ticket agent said to me, the plane's been canceled. And I about jumped across and gave her a bear hug.
Oh.
I was so excited. I said, oh, thank you. I'm so happy.
Wow.
Now, next to us was another woman, and she was checking in, and she was blasting the agent mad.
Yeah.
Oh, blah, 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 when am I going to get out of here? And blah, blah, blah. And so the ticket agent said to her, it won't be till tomorrow till you get out. And I looked at my ticket agent, and she went like this. She put her hand up to her mouth, telling me to be quiet. And so I didn't say anything. The lady walked away that was next to us. She says, oh, I'm putting you on another airlines. And we got there a half an hour before we were supposed to get there.
Wow.
And she says, see what you get for being nice.
Yeah.
But that was because my cousin, who was guarding me, and sent me a message to guard me from that. And I was so grateful.
That's beautiful.
One day, Nance, I would really love to have a reading.
Oh, sure. You can give me one and I'll give you one. We'll trade.
Sounds like
my God, that's a winner right there.
Winner, chicken dinner. Right. But anyway, Faye, I wanted to continue on with empowerment is through the I am affirmation. Then the most important thing to clear things and to cut karmic ties and unchain your soul from other souls is forgiveness.
Right.
And Spirit, a long time ago when I was married to my first husband, gave me a forgiveness technique that I have really tweaked and honed in on. And so I help people do that. And what I always recommend is to do forgiveness for 21 days. Because 21 is the sacred geometry number of changing energy, frequency, patterns, and habits. So that unchains the soul from the other soul. It also cuts a karmic tie. So, if you keep having the same kind of bad experiences only with this different people.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a bad experience with, just like if somebody gets married and then they get a divorce and then they start dating again and they're dating the same person, only a different
color. or
clothing
shape or what clothing. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then the same pattern reoccurs
Yep.
again. You don't want to keep continually playing those same karmic patterns.
Right.
So forgiveness is the way out of that.
Okay.
And then you do gratitude. A gratitude journal is so important.
Gratitude journal.
A gratitude journal where you say thankful for 10 things each day when you get up in the morning. And then you say thank you, thank you, thank you, and then I love my life. Well, just think what you're invoking for your day if you're doing that.
That's awesome.
Or the other thing too is you can manifest through a gratitude journal.
Yes.
I'm so grateful I found my true love.
Yes.
You know, you're manifesting things.
That's kind of how Roger showed up for me, Nancy.
Wonderful.
It's definitely how he showed up for me quickly. I'll just quickly say that, interject this, that, you know, when we met at the church that we went to together, and during that time, I was manifesting the same stupid people over and over again. And then I said, I am not dating anymore. I am just going to let it happen. And I put a board together, that one of those boards, and
Wish boards.
A wish board, and on the wish board was, out of a catalog or a magazine, was a tall, a big man, dark in complexion, and I also wrote down, on, summer solstice day, what I wanted in a man, and I wanted him to have a good singing voice. I wanted to be able to talk to him about deeper things than hunting or Ford pickup trucks, and also,
football on New Year's.
yeah, 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 and I also, said that, well, anyway, I wrote it all down, and then I burned it, and then I put it to the gods above, and that was on summer solstice. Then, about 8 years later, maybe, I don't know, I was having a lunch with a friend of mine, and her name was Janetta. She comes on our show every once in a while. And on that day, she says, how things are in the dating scene. I said, well, there's not very much going on, Janetta. She says, oh, well, what's going on? I said, well, I am not on any website or any site, dating site and I decided that, this is what I'm going to tell you right now, Janetta. That person has to stand before me and say that he loves me, and that he declares his love and stands in front of me and says he loves me. Well, that's exactly what Roger did that night at the gig. He says, I've always loved you. And I you know, it was like, it just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it, and, that's how he came up. It's because I did the affirmation out loud to my friend after probably doing some work between the time I did the, storyboard or whatever that's called, and then, you know, putting it up to the god or the gods, whatever, the universe, and I really believe that's the only way I was gonna do it. I mean, and he showed up like 3 months later at this gig.
Exactly.
So,
we have the ability to be co-creators.
Yes.
And we have the ability to direct our lives and to manifest things in our lives more than we know. We have not really empowered ourselves. And when we think about love, we think we know what love is. But we have no clue in this dimension what love is, because love creates universe. Just think how much more powerful love is than we really imagine. And if we vibrate at the vibration of love, we affect 700,000 other vibrations around us.
Wow.
So when we're constantly loving ourselves is the first key.
Yes.
But loving, seeing things to love. Now, you don't have to like everybody. You don't have to like their, and you don't have to love them like be their best friend. But you can send them God's love or divine love. Doesn't matter. And that's what people have trouble with when they do forgiveness. They say, oh, I can't forgive that person. You don't have to forgive them on a way that you're thinking that I can't send them love. You can send them God's love, and pretty soon you'll feel that love bubbling up inside of you.
That's a good point. I love that point, because there's a person I have a hard time forgiving, honestly, Nancy. And that is good. So sending them
Divine love.
Divine love.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be personal love. We in pranic healing, we do a meditation called Twin Hearts. This is our individual heart right here. And then the crown is our universal heart. Okay. That goes out to the universe to love all things and all that. Send it from that. You don't have to get personal with it. You know, there's some people that I have a really hard time being in the same room with.
Yes.
But I do forgiveness, and I don't let them affect me.
Yeah.
I stay in my own power.
Right. But do they stay away from you? They can probably feel it.
Well, no, they sometimes get up in my face. But I also have learned to put down healthy boundaries, because like there's this individual that goes to our church, and this person wants to control things or to do things their way, when that's interfering with the service, or it's interfering with something that's going on. And so I observe and ask Spirit to help me. And I approached this person and said, you know, this is interrupting what we're doing here. Could you please wait till we're over with? And this person says to me, well, you know, I'll do the best I can, but when God speaks to me, and somewhere God was helping me out, and I gave me quick wit.
Yes.
Because then I said, that's exactly what God did with me. That told me to talk to you.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
But there's ways that you'll be inspired to handle certain situations. And usually when I'm handling a certain situation, there was a woman that I had a little problem with, and we were someplace together in a group, and we were kind of snippy with each other. And the second time it happened, I thought, oh, this can't go on. So then I just said, okay. I said, sorry. And I said her name. I said, we need to do a reset right here, right now. And I grabbed her and hugged her. And I said, I love you.
Wow.
You know, because I wasn't going to go on with that kind of tension between the two of us. So, and you know what? She softened towards me. And she realized that, you know, I meant her no harm, that I wasn't really judging her like she thought I was. And we were able to get through the rest of the week okay together. But boy, it was going to be treacherous if I hadn't have said, reset, this isn't happening. No. You know, that's what, as spiritual people, we have to learn that it's not healthy for us either to not set a healthy boundary. Now, if you're a spiritual person who's always giving, then the person that you're going to set a healthy boundary on, if you've never done it before, isn't going to like it.
The boundary.
They're going to fight it.
They don't like the boundary.
Hold it. No, they don't like those boundaries, and you've never done it before with them. Right. So as soon as you do it, they're not going to like it. They may give you some static or whatever, but those boundaries are so important for them as well as it is us. Because if you don't set the healthy boundary, you're enabling them to continue bad behavior.
I love it. And you know, I want to reach out to the people who are watching the show, that they definitely can ask Nancy questions. I didn't make that clear. Definitely. And Kathy, I think, is asking a pretty good question.
Okay. When I do the forgiveness technique, Kathy, I have a certain forgiveness technique. And if you get in touch with me, I will send it to you. Where you imagine the person standing in front of you, and then you bring white light down through your crown into your heart, and you beam out pink light around them like a bubble or an egg. Then you want to clean the energetic cord between you. And you go gold light, electric violet light, gold light. And then you say, Namaste, I forgive you. Please forgive me. We're all children here on earth. We all have lessons to learn. We all make mistakes. I hold you in your highest and best good. In doing so, I hold myself in my highest and best good. Namaste. And then you take gold scissors, cut the cord, and see them float off in their pink bubble. I wouldn't tell the person directly that I was doing anything. You control two things on this earth plane. You control yourself and how you use energy. That's it. You don't control anything else. So when you're having a problem with a person, you want to do forgiveness so that you can clean the energy between the two of you. And then you want to cut the cord so that they're not attached to you any longer. And you do that with gold because gold seals things off. Like I said, gold scissors. And then you see them float off. So, and you're holding them in their highest and best good. You're holding them at a place they can't even hold themselves. When you hold yourself or other people at their highest and best good, you actually raise your vibration and you help them raise their vibration. So they will start reacting to you in a different way because you're not in the same vibration you are when you're angry with them. Okay? You're sending out signals when you're pissed off at somebody or you're upset with their behavior or you've had a confrontation with them that is ugly. Mm-hmm. You hold a certain vibration. That's a low vibration.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've been there just this past week.
Yes. And what actually happens then, if they're feeling the same way with you, each one of you are cording into each other in a very low vibration, which will pull your energy down and take your whole being down to a lower vibration of anger, of resentment, of whatever, you know? Yeah. So once you start cutting those cords and letting them go, you're going to find some. I call my forgiveness technique my Harry Potter one. Yes, it's done amazing things for me.
It's just magical, huh?
It is magical. It is. It's wonderful.
I love it. I love that. So look at it that way.
Because I had a person that we had to stop a center that we were in, and I was very hurt by some of the things that came out that, you know, they were saying really bad things about me and everything. Wow. And so I went and got my own place. And when I was living in Minnesota, and I had a guest come in doing a class that was a very dear friend of mine. And this other person that I had a falling out with wanted me to have that person come over to where she was and do some readings and stuff. And I'm like, what? You know? And so I'm sitting in my car after I read the text and I said, talk to her higher soul. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Then I did forgiveness on her. Bam, 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 several times, right?
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, she texted me back, oh, that was a bad idea.
What?
We'll come to your place.
We'll come to your place?
Yeah, instead of having me bring my friend to her place.
Yeah.
And I was like, she told me exactly what I was telling her higher soul. This is a bad idea. This is a bad
idea. Wow. So I hope everybody's listening to this. This is fascinating. This is empowering, powerful information. And I am taking it in. I am so taking it in. Because it's also things that I think we all kind of know, Nancy. We kind of know it in our heart that
but
this
you need a reminder.
But you need a reminder.
I have to remind myself and have other people remind me.
Well, I creeped onto your website today because you have fabulous also some videos on there, and one of them does cover forgiveness. And so what is your email address again? Let me put it up there for you, honey. I'll Kathy's
It's
asking.
Rev Nancy Lee 52 at gmail.com.
Yeah. I just did it. So, that's fabulous. You know what's funny? You talked about doing something for 21 days. That the number 21 is not only you're starting you're getting out of a bad habit and creating a new way of doing something.
It's a sacred geometry
It's a
number
sacred geometry number.
of
One of my passwords, without me knowing that I did a good thing, has 21 in it a couple of times. And the rest of the I'm not gonna disclose what that is, but the rest of the password is, something that is, I was creating the password kind of out of, sheer panic in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and because I didn't want someone to get into my bank account, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it is also quite amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added it with 21.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's ever gonna get it because they won't know what I did. It doesn't have my name on it or anything. It's just something entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that, and I went, "Wow, I am
Synchronicity.
there's synchronicity there,
And
okay?"
we're going to start finding that synchronicity is going to become a normal thing, an everyday thing. I mean, it does for me. I'm like, I went to a Sam's Club the other day, and just as I had locked the door on the door handle, and on the, where it is on the door, and I went to shut it, and somehow my keys that I had flew back in just as I was shutting the door, and I locked the keys in. Well, I went in to I called my roadside assistance, and they said to go on the app, and I couldn't get the app to work. I'm standing outside panicking that I don't have my keys. Thank God I have my phone. And so I called a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, well, I'm going to go take a shower, and then I'll come and get you and take you down to Venice. You can get your other keys and bring you back." And so then I went into Sam's Club, and I thought, I am allowing myself to panic, and this isn't a good thing, because nothing comes good out of panicking or getting upset.
True.
So I calmed myself down. I got the app to work. The guy said he was coming, but he was supposed to come like an hour and a half later. And I thought, well, that's better than making my friend drive me back down to Venice and back, and back again. So I went ahead and finished what I was doing in Sam's Club. I rolled my cart up to my car, and I called my friend, and she says, "Oh, thank God you called. I was just getting in the car to come and get you." I said, "You don't need to come." I turned like this, and there was the guy standing there.
There was the guy. That's
not an hour and a half later, right when I needed him.
Wow.
When we understand the law of nature is that everything is always in divine and perfect order. When we accept that and fall into that, surrender and trust that no matter what's happening, no matter how bad it looks, it turns out for our highest and best good. If you believe that and you fall into that universal wave and get off the emotional roller coaster, then you will start to see these synchronicities right, left, and center. They'll just come. So and then at the right and perfect time, they will come.
I need to share something with you right now.
Okay, right now.
Right now, because you're on the topic. You said surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And before the show, before we connected, just before the show, I did a quick meditation, and I also pulled an angel card. Okay. This is the angel card, and it's from Diana Cooper selection card. I pulled this card. It says surrender.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Okay. Says whatever you resist in life persists. Ask your angels to help you dissolve all the resistances of your ego, the inner conflict and struggle, the rigid mindsets and habits, so that they can flood your life with higher truth and joy. When you surrender to the guidance of your higher self, all the energy you have been using in resistance, which is panic, I suppose, as well. I added and anxiety,
frustration, fear, all of that.
so if you do when you surrender to the guidance of your higher self, all the energy you have been using in resistance becomes available to you. Vitality, inner peace, harmony, and most of all, love are your spiritual rewards. So flow with the pace of life, relax and tune in. Then follow the guidance of your intuition, knowing that the angels will support you at all times. The affirmation is, I surrender to the flow of life.
That's right.
Isn't that awesome?
And if anybody knows anything, and I'm sure a lot of people that are on know about Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction.
Yeah.
So what does she talk about? Don't go upstream, go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
And the flow doesn't always look good. Like when my mother passed away a year ago, my younger brother had passed away the year before. And my younger brother had issues with me, and he had cut me out of his life, which was very sad, but that's just the way it happened. So when I went back to my mother's, to Iowa, to my mother's funeral, I was a little short of cash because I'd spent a lot of money on my brother's funeral when I went to my brother's funeral. So I didn't have a place to stay. So I asked my younger brother, who's 3 years younger than me, to ask my youngest brother's widow if I could stay at her house. And she said, my husband would roll over in his grave if I let her stay here. Now, that's very hateful and it's very mean. As far as I'm, me hearing it, it was hurtful.
Yeah.
But I just kept saying everything's in divine and perfect order. It was a catalyst that my other two brothers, one that's a year older and one is 3 younger, they paid for my hotel room, which was much better than staying at somebody's house.
Wow.
I could grieve my mother. I had my own bathroom. I could do what I wanted to do. Yes. And it was a blessing that she did that.
Yes. Yeah, it was a blessing that she did. She said, absolutely not. And
it was a blessing.
And then the other family members came to the calling and made sure you were able to be there in peace.
That I was taken care of.
And you were in peace and harmony, and you didn't have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah, and I could grieve my own way.
Yeah.
I needed to grieve my own mother my own way without anybody interfering with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was
so it all worked out perfectly.
Right.
So my favorite affirmation that Spirit gave to me, and when I still lived in Minnesota, it was I just lost my job. And I didn't know how I was going to pay for rent because I just moved into a new apartment that the rent was over $1,000. I didn't know how I was going to pay for that. And if I could have been on my knees, I had bad knees, but if I could have been on my knees, I would have been on my knees. But I was crying and really upset. And I said to Spirit, I need help here. And they gave me this affirmation. The universe provides for me every day in each and every way. And let me tell you something, that affirmation has gotten me through so many things.
Do you want to repeat that?
The universe provides for me.
Yep.
Every day in each and every way.
Okay.
And within a couple of weeks. I was signed up for Social Security disability because I had a bad knee at the time, couldn't do hair. I was doing hair at the time. And it enabled me to have a knee operation for $3.
Wow.
And it also enabled me to have my own office, which I needed at the time, and do my own thing, which I made a lot more money at that than I've had I'd stayed at that meditation center I was at.
Wow.
So everything happened, and it didn't look good when it was happening.
Right.
Let me tell you something. People were saying that I was doing black magic on people and making them sick, which was a big, big lie. And I had to do a lot of forgiveness. I would tell you, I was forgiven every day because it was so hurtful and so mean, I thought. But you know what? It all turned out so much better for me. It just did, because I surrendered and trust that everything, no matter how bad it looks, everything is for your highest and best.
When you're surrendering, you're not just saying, I give up. There's no hope. You don't do that. You're surrendering and giving
to the divine.
To the divine.
That God has a bigger plan than you could ever dream of having.
Sometimes things come in like that, and you think, okay, I don't know and it just opens up something more beautiful.
And we have to give up the how.
Yes.
Because we don't know how it's going to work out, but it will work out. Just like I was testing it the other day.
Yes.
This is another adventure to Sam's Club. I was testing it. Well, I get these big things of bottled water, and then I run them through. You're welcome, Tanya. I run it through my filter thing, but I like the bottles of water. I don't know why. But anyway, they're big and they're heavy, and my arm had been hurting me. So I said, okay, my arm hurts today, so I need somebody to walk up and put those bottles of water in my cart. And I walked up to where the cart was, and here comes this young man. He goes, oh, let me do this. Let me do that for you. He says, I'm just in time. And I just busted out.
Oh, my God. That is hysterical.
Said, yes, sir, you are. You're just in time.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't have really bad days and that I get pissed off. I'm telling you all really magical stories that have happened in my life, and I can tell you a lot more. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. It doesn't mean we're going to not have bad days. Just because you get spiritual doesn't mean that you don't have bad days, and that somebody's not going to attack you or call you a liar or say bad things about you. Right. Or that, on a rainy day, you're stuck out on the road with a tire, a flat tire. It doesn't mean that. It's how you surrender and trust that everything's going to work out right for your highest and best interest. Mm-hmm. Now, you get off the emotional roller coaster, which is peaks and valleys, like a graph, Mm-hmm. and get onto the universal wave like that. So you go down, but you don't go as far down, and you go right back up again.
It's like when I read in my life, and I didn't know all of these wonderful things that you're saying right now, but I think even when we are unaware of how fabulous the universe is and how wonderful our guardian angels are, even when we don't recognize that in our lives, when we have been put in really, in our view, terrible situations that are impossible to overcome, all of a sudden, the God source and all the angels and all of they just swoop in and they take you and they bring you to a better place. They do.
That's right.
Because they want you to have a better life.
I was upset with something the other day, and I went spiraling out of control with it. I was like, and I was talking to myself, and I was thinking, oh, for crying out out. I'm so sick of this stuff. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I thought, okay, what are you going to take action at? Are you going to take action with how upset you are about it and that you don't want to do it? So we make a plan that we want something. Yes. We tell the universe or God, or we start to manifest something. Yes. But where are we taking our action at? Are we taking at the action that we don't have it? Or are we taking action that we're going to manifest it? When I wanted a house down here, I came down in July of 2019 with the intentions of buying a house in this community called the Bay Indies. I found the house I wanted, this house that I'm living in. I put a bid on it. Like it was happening. I'm taking action. I had no clue where I was going to get the $2,000 to put the deposit down on it. Not a clue. But I took the action as if it's already done, and I put the bid on. This is what I'm going to pay for it. You know, I'm going to put I'll have the deposit soon. Yeah. And that the next day after I made the bid, said I'd bring the deposit in by the end of the week, which was 2 days later, of rent rebate went into my account for the exact amount of money I needed.
Wow.
I don't have to know how. I just have to keep taking action as though it's already done. Wow, and I have to remind myself of those things that have happened in my life. And I went ahead and took action as if it was already done. I said, I'm going to start before the end of this year. I'm going to be online more. Well, guess who calls me up and wants me on her show? Miss Faye.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Faye's Angels.
I know. And I thought, oh, is she going to want to be on my show? Oh, I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to, all she can do is say no, right?
That's right.
I know.
So, you know, asking it is given. That's all. Yeah. Asking it is given. But you have to surrender and trust to how it's going to happen, because you don't know. But you also have to remember, take action in your own life. If you're sitting as this couch potato and say, oh, yeah, I want to be doing this, and you don't do anything to make that happen, God helps those who help themselves. You can't just take a back seat. You have to get in the front seat, surrender, and trust that God's your co-pilot.
Amen, sister.
Well, I
know. I love that. I mean, you know, Roger and I have some pretty amazing conversations every day. You know, we might be low ourselves on some things, and we might even, you know, not agree on some things. But what is so cool is that I mean, all of this resonates with us, what you're saying right now, because we always end it, well, we're just going to do it. We're going to, you know, should we have an office? We didn't even know we were going to have an office. But here, all of a sudden, Roger's out looking at different offices. I looked at some offices. They were ridiculous for the prices they wanted for rent. And all of a sudden, this office comes online, and it's a beautiful little office, and it's perfect. And we do our shows. We are able to have people come, and you know, we have a nice place for them to sit, and there's 2 other little rooms that we can, you know, have.
It's wonderful.
It's just wonderful.
When I left that meditation center, I had someone of a spiritual nature come up to me and say, why don't you have your own office? Well, I said, you know, right now I'm kind of, you know, I'm on Social Security disability, and I take some, you know, getting some benefits that I don't want to give up.
Right.
Had I put in for it. And the person said to me, go find your office. and I'll pay the rent and you pay me back. That's how I got
Wow.
my office in Minnesota.
Okay.
Because it
Wow.
was meant to be.
Yeah.
You were meant to have that office.
Yes, we were. We were.
So, and I had been able to be a minister since 1995. I took my ministerial skills. I did everything. Not until I joined the Cosmic Center did I become a minister.
Yeah, I love the pictures that I saw when you became, the Reverend Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am getting my stage hand is giving me the 5, meaning I guess I only have 5 minutes. Holy
Oh yeah,
cow.
yeah. We've been on for an hour and a half. How about
Wow.
that?
That is so crazy. There's something, I mean, I, I, I hate to take away from, I don't feel I'm taking away from it, but I want to share with others that I shared with you before we did the show. That makes me was quite stunning. Before I went on the show with you today, I was thinking about our show, but I went into meditation, and then I did also some reading out of this book. And I shared this with you, Nancy, before, and I want to share it with others.
Mm-hmm.
That, when a person like me, starts to really, I mean, I was acting on little faith actually when I had affirmed that I was going to find Roger with my friend. That was not all that much faith, but I affirmed it. It does, it's like you don't have to be a holy man or a holy woman to have these wonderful things happen to you in life. You
Yeah.
can be starting to practice, you can start to be aware. So I'm reading this book. So here I go. I'm reading this book. It's called Angel Relationships. I'm on a page that talks about on page 71, no, page 70, that talks about angel healing. I put my finger on page 71, and there is a little tiny white feather that shows up on the page. There's no I don't know if you can even see it. It's there. I'm going to leave it there. I put my finger there and I say, what is this little thing? It's a little, it's not a fur. It's a little feather. Where did that, there's no reason for it to be there. And it's called angel therapy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I find
And
this
that's
book,
what you're doing with your show.
I'm
You
doing
call it
angel,
Faye's Angel, but you're
I,
bringing angel energy and angel therapy to people.
I'm hoping so.
So,
That's my motivation to this show. I mean,
mhm.
I, I, I did this in the beginning. I said, okay, kind of kicking and screaming. But then as I started moving along and all these wonderful people are coming in, such as yourself, then and then I can't explain this. I can't explain this.
No,
Where did this go? Where
there
did
is no explanation for those things. There are signs from the universe. You
I
know,
am told I'm
when my
totally
brother passed away, I had a bunny come in my house on a rainy day and was in my dining room. Have you ever heard of a bunny coming in anybody's house?
no.
I haven't. And then the next day, he was sitting on the front doorstep when I opened the door right over his head, and he never moved.
Oh my God.
So it was a sign from the universe, from my brother. We
Yeah,
get
and
signs from the universe, birds and feathers and money and rocks and rainbows, all kinds of things. But we have to pay attention too to
we pay
those signs.
attention. So I mean, I took this as a sign that I'm on the right path.
That's
That
right.
I'm doing
Like I
that.
say, you're bringing angel therapy to people.
And it's just, and so also Roger added from stage right that his stage name was Roger Rabbit. So
I love that. I
down
guess
in
I got my rabbits in line, huh?
so I hope that you're on our show, one of our shows, my show again. I think there's so many things that we talked about today, but there are other things I hope resonate, and I know resonate with people who have been watching us today. Um, also want to wish you, Nancy, a wonderful Christmas time, and the people who have come on, uh, that they have a very wonderful Christmas time. Even if you are by yourselves this Christmas, find something that will bring you light and love and
Joy.
joy. Absolutely. And just reach out to someone. If you are alone, reach out. Or if you're alone, reach out to somebody else, maybe help them, maybe bring joy to their lives, And anyway, I am so grateful that you joined us today. I hope you can.
Namaste. And thank all of the people that did come
Oh,
on. And thank
absolutely.
you so much, Faye. I'm looking forward to more communication with you
Me
and
too.
with your husband. I think we both have a quirky sense of humor, so
I
that will
think we
help
do.
a lot.
I love it. I mean, honestly, I love you. I already loved you before you came on today. Absolutely. And
And the same with me.
yeah.
I was thrilled when you asked me.
Oh, and
Absolutely thrilled.
awesome.
So
So anyway, I'm going to have to say goodbye. Our time is up.
I see that.
But we will talk again.
All
Thank you.
right. Thanks
Okay,
so
dear.
much.
Thank you,
God
everyone.
bless. Merry
God
Christmas
bless.
to everybody.
Mhm.
Blessings to all.
Blessings to all.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.